just 64 degrees Celsius, 147 degrees Fahrenheit on the sand. That is adding to the difficulty of this elimination round. As our expert in the box, Dane Blanton, has pointed out, one of these teams has to go home after this match. Canada get the action underway, and the first point on the board to Brazil. Pavan just missing out on that one, but watch for this lady from Canada at the net, Sarah Pavan. One of the tallest female players on the World Tour. 196 centimetres tall, or 6 feet 9. Brazil serving Humana Paredes, who now attacks for Canada. Over the top. What a lovely rainbow shot from the young Canadian.
Yeah, Nick, you mentioned the heat, and it has been a big issue. Notice that the tournament has decided to water down the court. You see that in a lot of situations where the temperatures are really hot. You water down the court, spray it down, it cools things off, at least for the match at hand, and the players always appreciate it.
Well, how about that for a shot from Barbara Seixas. Barbara, as she goes by on court. Lovely cross-court spike.
Barbara, a left-hander, so hard to track. Not a lot of left-handed players on tour, so when you go up against them, you have to make those certain adjustments. Move your block left or right. And there is a good look at Sarah Pavan, who I've said really has improved not only mentally, but physically. She knows where and when to put the spot, the ball in the corner, and she's also playing more aggressive, more physical, really using that 6'5" frame.
There's a good service from Humana Paredes. Paredes, I should say. 3-2 advantage with Canada. Here's a chance for a break here. This young lady out of Toronto, Ontario, just 24 years of age. Really has benefited so much playing alongside Pavan. That's a good spike down from Fernanda this time, the number 2 for Brazil in their familiar yellow and green shirts.
Such high-level volleyball being played. It's a shame that one of these teams has to go home so early in the round of 32. 7th seed versus the 8th seed, ending up going head-to-head early on, and you can tell the sense of urgency from all 4 players right from this initial whistle.
Well, Sarah Pavan's another southpaw out there. We're going to see a lot of left-sided shots, and they know it, the Brazilians. There's Barbara, very experienced player. Here's Pavan with service for Canada. Chance of a break here. Brazil need to side out. Pavan serving Fernanda on the attack now. Nice little touch, a deceiving play from Fernanda.
Beautiful set by Barbara, taking a chance, getting it up to the net. That's what you have to do, and have Fernanda really challenge Sarah Pavan as much as possible.
Low drop serve from the Brazilian. Pavan on the attack for Canada. Seixas has good hands there, and now Barbara puts it away. The linesman's flag stays down. The advantage goes to Brazil at 5-4 against Canada.
Yeah, this is going to be back and forth. I would not be surprised if this went to 3 sets. As equal as these two teams are, they have never played. Oh, excuse me. Actually, they have played together. That happening in Porridge, and the winning team was Canada. They were on absolute fire that weekend, I remember.
That's the one they won, Dane, in Porridge. That's the one that brought them their big win of this season. But to be fair, Canada have been in the final 4 of their last 4 FIVB World Tour matches. Now, there's an argument to say they've peaked at the right time. There's also an argument to say, have they done too much before arriving at these championships?
Yeah, and I remember in Porridge watching this semifinal, and the big surprise was how decisively Canada won, 21-16, 21-11.
That's a big score against such a quality Brazilian side. And there's possibly just a slight taste of revenge here from Brazil. They won't be forgetting that beating in Porridge, I should say. So you can see that both Fernanda and Barbara have come out firing on all cylinders in the early exchanges of this opening set. And there's Barbara serving Pavan. Humana Paredes with the set. Pavan puts it away nicely.
Pavan, an unbelievable player indoor, went to Nebraska, and a 4-time All-American. And Nebraska has had an illustrious indoor professional career. Decided to switch to beach volleyball when she realized that she was not going to be an Olympian and win a medal on the Canadian national team. So picked up the phone, started playing with Heather Bansley way back in 2013, and how about that? You know, she made it to the Olympics. They had an unbelievable run. They finished in 5th place.
Yeah.
But then that partnership somewhat soured, as can happen on the beach. And now Pavan looks like she is really enjoying herself. She gives a lot of credit to Heather Bansley for being that initial partner and helping her show her the ropes. Because beach volleyball, very different than indoor volleyball.
I have to say, I think Melissa Humana Paredes, the new partner for Pavan, is just as exciting as Heather Bansley in the defense.
Oh, absolutely. And very consistent. But you always remember that first partner that helped you get out there. It's unfortunate that the partnership between Bansley and Pavan went south because of what a lot of people point to, a collision that took place early in 2016 between the two on the same side of the net, and the way it worked out just wasn't good for the relationship.
I remember following your interview on that, Dane, and it was such a shame, really, but that's sport, that's the way it goes. And here's Pavan looking to march forward in the 11th FIVB Beach Volleyball World Championships here, but they're out for revenge, Brazil. The Canadians gave them a real thrashing in Croatia earlier this season, and here's a chance for this Brazilian duo to turn the tables against Canada, and turn the tables in the biggest tournament of the season. Great play from Barbara to take that point and the advantage back to Brazil. Pavan on the attack with that left hand again, down to the sand with power and precision, tying the scores at 8-all.
I honestly think a year ago she would have probably rolled that ball. She just has a different mentality. Every time she goes up to attack, she means it. She wants to get that ball to the sand quickly. And another great hit.
67 kilometers per hour, the spike speed. Good cover from Paredes. Oh, but at the net, right place, right time for Fernanda.
So much back and forth right now. Brazil with a 1-point lead. There's the high poke shot over Humana Paredes, and Canada can't handle that one.
Here's Barbara with service for Brazil. Again, they're opting to serve Sarah Pavan. Another wonderful shot. Dane, you pointed it out right at the beginning of this match. This lady's confidence on court really has come on leaps and bounds from last season. And if you look at it 3 seasons ago, when we first started with the Swatch Beach Volleyball Major Series, she really is a different player.
You can just tell she has more command of where she wants that ball to go. And there, she finally strikes at the net. A stuff block by the 6'5", 196 centimeters, Sarah Pavan.
That will do nothing but add to that confidence we were referring to. Chance for a break here for Canada, 10-9. Oh, it's a little bit... Oh, and weren't Brazil lucky to get out of there, because there's a bit of a shank on the serve receive from Fernanda.
Yeah, you thought that Canada had the advantage, but how about Fernanda? A little poke shot cross court, and the defensive specialist, Humana Paredes, maybe caught a little bit on her heels.
Here is Fernanda with service. Oh, service error, hands it right back to Canada, who take the advantage at 11 points to 10. Going into the technical timeout, and there's a technical timeout at the halfway point of the first and the second set. It's a 30-second break, and kind of a psychological advantage for Canada, who have that 1-point advantage over Brazil. But as predicted, very tight in the first half, and let's take a look now at the virtual Red Bull Arena and see where the majority of the serves are being placed.
Yeah, Brazil's trying to place those balls to the right side to the center and the right side, 55 and 45%. Straight down that 0% you see on the far left. They're not opting to go to that left side player. Very interesting to track the placement of the serves because that's strategic. That's where you want to go. Remember, you only have 2 players that you can serve. So you want to go to the player who you think is going to give up as many points as possible. And right now, Brazil, not really sure. That's why you're seeing so many down the middle.
So 11-10, the score. Killing me. 12 points to 10. Our apologies for the error on the graphic on screen there. That is now correct. 12 points to 10 with Humana Paredes picking it up where she left off from the technical timeout. And that shows, again, confidence from Canada. Right down the middle. That could be a service ace. Fernanda gets underneath it. Seychelles now gets the ball over, but just skyballs it to keep it in play. Pavan keeps the ball short and to the feet of Fernanda, and Canada are now starting to stamp their authority on this first set.
Canada just there on every play. They seem to have an answer. There's a nice free ball. A set from Humana Paredes, and then Pavan reaching high, even though that's about 6 feet off the net. Pavan with that 6'5" frame hits that ball at the apex, and it proves very difficult for the Brazilians.
Now, the Brazilians have called a timeout. Each team is allowed to call a 30-second break at any time in any set, but you're only allowed to call one per set. Now, look at those 3 quick points off the tech timeout for Canada. It's a huge match, this. One of the top 10 seeded teams in the world will be going home at the end of this match. And you can understand why there's a sense of urgency in the communication now between the 2 Brazilian players as they finish their timeout and break.
Well, they just haven't had an answer for the Canadians, who have really, got to give them a credit, really come out strong. They're playing more aggressive. They're capitalizing on every single opportunity that Brazil is giving them.
Can Humana Paredes pick it up where she left off, or does the timeout work for Brazil? Barbara at the net with Pavan. Pavan's a little disoriented, but the ball is still up. Humana Paredes keeps it up. Now the Canadian looks to finish, and she puts it right down the middle. And 14-10. So, the timeout does not work for Brazil. Canada continue the point run.
Canada's everywhere. They're making great moves, switching. You see how Humana Paredes and Pavan really complement each other so well in their movement on the court.
Humana Paredes, it's an ace serve to Fernanda. And 15-10, this young lady can do no wrong at the moment. Beautiful serve. And now the Brazilians are on the back foot.
Yeah, if you're Brazil right now, you're thinking, what has happened? It was 10-all at one point and 5 consecutive points for the Canadians, and they have completely started to pull away. It starts with a pass. Get your hands out early, get that platform, and fire up your offense.
Oh, and there's the service error. But superb point run. 5 on the bounce for Humana Paredes of Canada. Brazil trailing by 4. Barbara to the back of court to serve for the Brazilians. 29-year-old from Rio de Janeiro. Serving Pavan. They're sticking to the same tactic. Oh, and this time Fernanda gets a very important block and point on the board. That's her second of the match. 11th of the tournament, but that's got to be the most important one so far.
So important to grab the momentum back. It looked like Canada was starting to just run away with things. So a block, maybe a defensive play, get Brazil right back in. But there's that consistency of the Canadians. Humana Paredes seeing the court so well, tagging just the outside of the line. Check this angle shot out. Over Fernanda, and then you couldn't have pinpointed that one any better. You know, Humana Paredes not getting a lot of serves. Oh, and that's a couple of times that we've seen Canada kind of give it right back in the bottom of the net. You want to at least clear the net, and then the opposition has to think about whether it's in or out. But if you go straight in the net, it's just too easy of a point.
Absolutely. Here's Fernanda with service for Brazil. Again, trying to keep Humana Paredes out of the attacking play. But Pavan holding her own. 17-13. 5 clear again, Canada. 4 clear, I should say. Maths is going as well now. Great block from Pavan. Sets Humana Paredes. She goes cross-court. That's probably why the Brazilians are trying to keep this young lady out of the play as much as possible. She really does finish well.
So precise and so much control on where she wants to go. There's the beautiful pass. Pavan shoots it wide, and this team's starting to run varied offense as well. You saw that last set by Pavan was kind of a shoot set to the outside. And you do that to move the blocker back and forth on the other side of the net. It's working really well for Canada.
Quick side out for Brazil. Barbara with service. Oh, right down the middle. A beautiful ace. Couldn't come at a more important time for Brazil. The Canadians just left staring at each other.
And if you're Canada, you're thinking, let's get out of here quick. Let's win this set and move on, because Brazil keeps chipping away at the lead, and that lead continues to shrink.
Another fine shot from Melissa Humana Paredes. 19-15. Dane, I think you've hit the nail perfectly on the head there. Canada need to close this out, because before you know it, Brazil will be on their tails and then taking the lead. Here's Pavan with service for Canada. Both Brazilian players in confusion. Pavan serves an ace. That's a beautiful play. Her first ace of the match.
Right in the middle position. The float serve is that serve of choice for most volleyball players. It's because there's so much movement on it. It causes so much confusion. And right there, the Brazilians, they just could not recover.
Set point for Canada. Pavan sticks with the plan, serving Fernanda, who now attacks for Brazil. Good shot, little kiss off the tape of the net. Gives a little more angle to the ball. And maybe a touch from Pavan as well. Set point 2 for Canada. Fernanda this time decides to serve Humana Paredes, and that's why they've been keeping her out of the game. They try and see if it's going to work or not. I don't think that's the tactic for Brazil at all, as Canada win the first set.
It's so hard with this Canadian duo. Do you go to the taller, more powerful Sarah Pavan, or do you go to the crafty, shorter player, Humana Paredes, who's been playing the game of beach volleyball longer? So she knows when to dial it in, and right at set point, she puts that ball just out of reach.
Confirmation that Canada take the first set at 21 points to 16. So far, so good for Pavan and Humana Paredes, who are looking to put the number 8 seeds from Brazil out of this World Championship tournament. Attacks 14 to 10. Aces 3 to 1. So Canada certainly up on all of the attacking play. Let's take a look at the Red Bull virtual arena now. Now, this is the spike placement. Red is returned, unreturned, green, the winner.
And take a look at that right down the middle. A lot of the winning shots, those unreturned in blue, kind of spacing it out. And that's what you want to see, a varied offense of where you are attacking. Therefore, the defense can't get a beat on what's happening.
Yeah, it's an interesting virtual graphic there. With all of the attacking plays from the Canadian team as we go straight into the second set. This is a must-win for Brazil if they're taking it to a third tiebreak. Canada will look to wrap this up as quickly as they can, to rehydrate, to rest, and get ready for their round of 16 match. But this will be a real big win if Canada can keep this momentum going.
Canada looks really good. The offense that they're running to the outside antenna, beautiful setting by Sarah Pavan.
Again, confusion from the Brazilian players as Canada serve right down the middle. Good block, though, from Fernanda at the net. That will give her a little bit more confidence.
That's 100% by design. The Canadians set up an over on two. Usually Pavan with the advantage there, but Fernanda stuffs her.
Fernanda takes the serve for Brazil, and they've changed their tactic. They're going with Humana Paredes. And is it the right way to play? Because there's the block. Second one for Fernanda in a matter of moments.
Her form was on point right there, up and over the net, sealing so well. Can Fernanda continue this dominance at the net? We see it so often when a team is starting to get a run of points and then they serve that ball out or into the net. You have to make the other team earn getting out of trouble. Don't give it to them.
Sarah Pavan with service. Oh, neither team able to put this one away. But there is the shot from Humana Paredes. No, it's still up. Oh, but finally Pavan gets the better of Fernanda at the net. Canada take the point. A never-ending rally.
And a rally like that can take so much juice out of you, especially if you lose it. It seemed like Canada at the end was somewhat fresh, and Brazil, the players that ended up on the ground and shaking their heads right there, that was quite the rally. And a lot of energy, you can tell by that body language, was expended on that.
3-2 Canada. Here's Pavan with service. Fernanda powers that ball down.
That was an absolute crush cross court, acting as if Pavan wasn't even at the net. This is a risky play when you challenge, but she ripped it right past Humana Paredes.
All tied at 3-all. Barbara with service. Cross court to Humana Paredes. She's on the attack now for Canada. Powers it right at the body of Barbara. She's got her hands just in the right place. No choice but to go over on two. Second attempt for the Canadian. And again, Barbara, great defensive work. But neither team can finish it. Fernanda dropping back off the net, uses full stretch and puts the point on the board for Brazil. 4-3 ahead with a side switch.
Such a smart play. You could tell that Fernanda planned that on her drop. She goes to the net, drops, sees it's over her head, and says, why not go over on one before Canada can set up? That's a smart play right there by Fernanda.
Finally, Humana Paredes gets the angle, gets the timing of the shot. Just struggled a little on the last two serve receives, the young Canadian. But the scores are still all tied at 4-all. She's got a great serve, though, hasn't she, Humana Paredes? Here's the set for her.
got to give Brazil a lot of credit. They're digging deep. They're having to really work hard to win each of these points. And that ball poked right off the top of the block of Sarah Pavan. And you can see the relief, the fist pump. And Fernanda, she looks fatigued. If I'm Canada, you got to notice that and really try to pick on her.
Lovely cut on the ball from Humana Paredes, tying the scores at 5-all. I think it's fair to say, Dane, that all 4 players out on court are looking a little tired. The heat starting to take its toll. Good shot from Pavan over on 2. Brazil playing well to recover from the service of Pavan. Big kiss on the net, almost stops the ball.
That was an impressive one-handed pass by Fernanda, but in the end, Canada ends up winning the rally.
That ball is out of play. It's a break for Canada. 7-5.
Barbara trying to stay out of the net. And the players taking a break. Notice all the players having that ice. They put them on the back of their neck, trying to stay as cool as possible. Even if you only have 1 match a day, it gets grueling out here. And it's all about getting a little shade, getting a little relief from that sun that's just beating down.
Anything high off of Fernanda's shoulders.
10-7. Pavan to Fernando with the blocks. Attacks, I should say, 2 and 4. So Fernanda is winning the blocking match. But you can see Fernanda clearly wound up, and Barbara says she's just trying to calm her partner down there. Stark contrast for the Canadians. Very calmly, trying to conserve energy as much as they can. But they've got that break at 7-5, and they've already won the first set at 21-16. Oh, service error. That justifies the call of the timeout from Brazil.
That's important for Brazil to get back on track and try to get a lead. They've been playing a lot of catch-up, and it's not fun playing from behind. You want to get a little cushion, get a lead, and then go from there. And remember, Canada has that first set already.
Well picked out of the net by Humana Paredes. And a fantastic block from Sarah Pavan.
So strong up at the net, just nowhere to go. Pavan taking the line, and Humana Paredes waiting in the angle, and Alves tries to challenge Pavan, as so many have before, and Pavan usually comes up the winner.
It's another big service from the Canadian. Over on 2, Pavan. Confidence at an all-time high for Canada. They go 3 clear. But it's all coming from a spectacular serve of Humana Paredes.
Yeah, nice touch block by Pavan. I guarantee you a year ago, she doesn't hit the ball quite like that. She just ripped that ball right there, and that's why Canada now has won 5 of the last 6 points.
Again, struggling on serve receive, Brazil. Oh, that's a wonderful dig from Humana Paredes, who looks to finish it. Fires it to the body of Fernanda. 10-6 Canada.
What a quick whip of an arm for Humana Paredes. She goes right at Fernanda, and that ball coming way too quick. Fernanda can just duck and try to get out of the way.
It's another good service, and again trouble on the serve receive, this time for Barbara.
Oh, wow. That's just not fair. She didn't even jump right there.
She didn't have to.
The ball was set perfectly by Humana Paredes, and Sarah Pavan absolutely dominating any opportunity that she gets. So impressed with her improvement and how strong a player she has become.
Brazil are in trouble. The number 8 seeds need to find some answer to this exceptional service run from Humana Paredes. Look at them fighting here. Such an important side out for Brazil. They have been playing catch-up since the start of this match, and they find themselves in the same situation again in this second set.
I thought Sarah Pavan was going to actually get to that ball. I had no idea she was that quick.
Another great shot from Humana Paredes.
This is a really solid team. So impressed on how this team really complements one another, the Canadians. Humana Paredes just patrolling the backcourt. Sarah Pavan absolutely dominating the airspace at the net.
It's as if she heard you say that, Dane, because there she does. An amazing stuff block from Pavan. Oh, beautiful play. It's her 4th of the match, 15th of the tournament. But there's not many out there that can stop a block like that.
If you look up block in the dictionary, I think it would have been a picture of what we just saw Sarah Pavan do. And now she goes back to the end line, serves an ace, absolutely on fire going into the technical timeout. Sarah Pavan ran to the back line. She was ready to serve again. Humana Paredes had to tell her it's a technical timeout. We need to take a break, and the Brazilians are relieved that they're getting a stoppage of play.
Yeah, the technical timeout comes when there's a total of 21 points on the scoreboard, but 14-7 is not the scoreline that Brazil were hoping for. They've got to win this second set to stay in the match, and the odds are clearly in favor of the Maple Leaf of Canada here. This will be a big win for Canada, taking out the number 8 seed, who, unless something magical suddenly appears, they're heading home to Brazil.
You're absolutely right. Complete domination right now for Canada. It's actually very interesting to watch.
Well, the spike hit point, the green tells us what's down the line, cross court. I guess, Dane, what we can glean from this virtual graphic is that Canada is mixing it up. They're playing the ball all over. There's not one specific tactical play. It really is. Oh, and there's another ace from Sarah Pavan. Even after the 30-second break of the technical timeout, Pavan just can do no wrong right now. 15-7 for Canada. 3 aces now for the Canadian in this elimination match. Fernanda puts it out of play. Oh, they're all out of sorts. Now, heads are down for the Brazilian duo.
Nick, you really remember that rally that took forever, and it seemed like Canada, they were completely out of gas. It was a matter of when would that exhaustion start to catch up with them, and we're starting to see it right now. Canada completely running away with this, doubling the score of Brazil in just a set to 21. Canada just 5 points away. Canada is everywhere. They've done their homework. They've scouted, and they look more conditioned at the moment.
Barbara with service. Serving Humana Paredes. They're not the best of serve receive, so Pavan has to go over on 2. Here's another chance for Canada, though. Good defense from Barbara. But the block is there again for Sarah Pavan. The tallest lady on the court, one of the tallest in the competition, takes her block stat up to 5. And that is brilliant play. 17-8. 12 attacks, 5 blocks. Oh, and has that been struck out of court? Yes, it has. It's amazing, isn't it, Dane? A shot of adrenaline for Canada, and they are full of beans and energy. Brazil look like they're done, down and out.
And it's contagious. You know, when Pavan starts blocking the ball, it seems like Humana Paredes starts playing even better defense and vice versa. And there's going to be a challenge of this ball being in or out. But I think I saw it real time. That ball looked out of bounds by a long shot. It was called out of bounds. Brazil is challenging. And you know what? They've used their timeout, so maybe they're using this just as a little bit of a break. Sarah Pavan's going to clean her glasses, but that's not even close. Look at that. That's a good foot out of bounds, but no gamesmanship by Brazil. I think they knew it when they called it, but you get 2 per set. Why not use them?
Well, especially when you're 18-8 down. Use anything, I'd say. But Humana Paredes, who's had such a strong serve throughout this match. Fernanda on the attack for Brazil. Good cut on the ball. Oh, nearly had the hand there, Humana Paredes. That's a sign of how confident Canada are playing right now. But a valuable point back for Brazil.
If she could have got that up just a little bit more, would have hung in the net and given Pavan time to run it down.
Here's the 32-year-old Brazilian Fernanda serving Humana Paredes. Now she attacks for Canada. Over the top of the block. 19 points to 9. They're well on their way now, Canada, to wrapping this up. This is the biggest match of the tournament so far on the women's competition. And it looks like Canada are sending the Brazilian number 8 seeds home to Rio de Janeiro. Pavan serving Fernanda. At the net again, and the block is good. Block number 6 for Sarah Pavan. Match point for the Canadian team.
Sarah Pavan, I'll tell you what, she's a killer. You can see it in her eyes. She's got that passion, she's got that confidence, and she wants to beat you down every single point.
Good shot from Fernanda. Tooling the ball off the block of Sarah Pavan. It is match point number 2 for Canada. They just need to side out here against the Brazilian service. And it is their victory. Barbara is at the back of the Brazilian court. Pavan takes it. Pavan looks to finish it now. Is the ball still up? Well, it's down now! Canada, with the biggest result of this 11th World Championship so far, have beaten the number 8 seeds from Brazil, and they've beaten them in style. 2-0. Canada undefeated. Canada yet to drop a set. Canada on the way to the round of 16.